You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. A defendant in the case involving the East Patchogue teen that went missing has been arraigned on new charges. Daniel Soto is charged with rape and endangering the welfare of a child. The 14-year-old girl was allegedly raped during her 25-day disappearance back in December. Virginia Huey was in court and will have more in a moment. And a Deer Park man has been indicted in the killing of his father.
Clearly, my client has a history of mental health issues, which we're going to fully explore.
Prosecutors say Christopher Miller admitted to shooting his father, a retired Suffolk police detective, with a shotgun. The 43-year-old pleaded not guilty by insanity in court last month. And multiple people were hurt after a car drove into a St. James Jiffy Lube. Now, police say a driver making a turn on Middle Country Road caused the chain reaction crash. A Lexus went into the shop and damaged a Mini Cooper. 2 employees, a customer, one of the drivers, and a passenger were hurt. And the SPCA and other animal rescue groups are helping in the aftermath of the deadly Happy Cat Sanctuary fire. Now, the sanctuary's founder and as many as 100 cats died on Monday. About 200 cats survived and now need shelter. There was no word on what started the flames. An Wisconsin-based Paws of War rescued 40 dogs from puppy mills. The organization says it took 72 hours to save the dogs from 3 separate puppy mills. They say many of the dogs have injuries and infections because of their previous living conditions. But once healthy, the dogs will be put up for adoption. All right, let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather, shall we? It was a nice day today. We'll have a pretty nice day tomorrow with some clouds overhead. Rain is on the way. We'll check that out in the 7-day forecast coming up. Now back to that case involving that East Patchogue teen that went missing. Virginia Huey gives us the details from court.
Daniel Soto's defense attorney says her client is ready to go on trial and fight charges of second-degree rape and endangering the welfare of a child.
He denies ever having sex with her.
The 36-year-old Bastrop man was arraigned today on a new 83-count indictment in the case of an East Patchogue girl who was allegedly raped repeatedly during a 25-day disappearance in December. Defense attorney Catherine Fernandez says the prosecution's case is weak at best.
We have no indication that there's any DNA, any video, any other electronic evidence.
Newsday is not identifying the teen, who is 15 now, because she is a minor and the alleged victim of a sex crime. According to prosecutors, co-defendant Elizabeth Hunter of Islip allegedly created sexually explicit photos of the teenager aboard a yacht at White Cat Marina, which she sent to several people to offer sexual activity with the girl in exchange for drugs. Prosecutors say Hunter invited Soto to the yacht where he allegedly raped the teen and smoked crack cocaine with her.
He's struggled with drugs. That's what he is, but he's not a rapist.
Fernandez says the prosecution's case is based on the teen's word, and she made no mention of Soto until weeks after she was found on the yacht in early January.
There's no mention of him anywhere by the complaining witness until she's approached by detectives with a photo array, which I'm arguing is unduly suggestive, a photo array that the case detective clearly notes on the bottom was altered, that he resized, that you can look at the photo array and see that my client is the only person that's zoomed in on.
Soto is being held on $250,000 cash bail. His next court date is May 1st. In Riverhead, I'm Virginia Huey for Newsday TV.
The bird flu outbreak is now being found in household cats. Newsday reporter Robert Brodsky tells us what you need to know to keep your pets safe.
We've had 2 cases in New York, both in Brooklyn, and a third suspected case in which cats were infected and eventually died from bird flu. Those are the only cases so far. Those were related to a food company that apparently their raw, unpackaged foods were contaminated with poultry that had been contaminated with bird flu. That packaging has been pulled off the shelves. As of now, there has not been an additional cases in New York. Experts say that the number one thing they can do is they make sure not to feed their felines raw food or unpasteurized milk. That's the number one thing. Also, obviously, cats are an indoor creature. Do not let your cats go outside. And if you certainly do that, keep close eye on them and make sure they don't interact with any poultry. Make sure they don't interact with any cattle. Cattle has also been one of the ways that we've seen bird flu infected into the mammals population.
Recent years, there's been no confirmed cases that humans can get the bird flu from their household pets.
The sneaker game is officially back.
Nike's Air Jordans are credited with the beginning of the sneakerhead movement, a culture of collection and appreciation that still lives on today. Now, with the 40th anniversary of the first drop on April 1st, it's clear that Jordans never go out of style. Welcome to the Sneaker Exchange. So it's a buy, sell, and trade show that attracts hundreds of sneakerheads a couple times a year. But the interesting part is that none of this would probably even be here if Michael Jordan didn't team up with Nike in 1985 to release the first Air Jordans.
You're talking about a man who's a legend, legendary man, somebody who's an innovator, somebody who did so much for the culture just by being a great athlete. It's iconic in that way. If you look at history, you'll see that Jordans are always relevant.
It's a great, diverse community of people that just want to bond over one thing.
For some of the people here, sneakers have literally changed their lives.
I was homeless for a lot of my teenage years until I started, becoming into entrepreneur. First, I was doing the wrong things. Then I started to do the right things and got put onto selling shoes by my cousin. He was really profitable.
A few years back, Jordans kind of dipped in popularity, but recently they're making a comeback, especially with the anniversary on the horizon.
It's going to be a very good year for Jordans. They're once again coming out with a lot of the original colorways. They've done 2 pairs so far this year, and they've sold out instantly, and they're going for about double retail.
And no one forgets their first pair.
I was a senior in high school, and I was working for KFC at the time. I took my check and got me a pair of 10s, you know what I mean, and went to school, and everybody was like, yo, those is hot.
I remember standing in line with my little brother. We got the Master 12s, but it was just amazing. It was just it felt good, and then I couldn't, I wasn't getting made fun of no more because I was walking around with glue on my shoes and stuff, so it feels good now to have a lot of real sneakers.
This has been Laura Albanese reporting for NewsdayTV.
Grab a bottle, we're making tea. You wouldn't think it, but behind this little window sign at this Ronkonkoma warehouse, big flavor is being brewed. And behind the pillowcase-sized tea bags is none other than...
I'm Kyle Chandler, the founder of the Subtle Tea Company. We've been brewing quality iced tea for the last 12 years, and my favorite part of Subtle Tea is making it.
Chandler decided to brew his own tea while at a beer brewing festival, because to him, brewing is brewing, right?
And it was a legitimate light bulb moment. Like, beer is brewed, tea is brewed, why isn't there a craft brewed iced tea?
Well, now there is, coming in multiple flavors and distributed in multiple places. Subtle Tea is here.
That tastes like tea. Tasty first.
Which is like crazy. It's so simple.
Right?
Yeah. It's good tea.
Now, before the machinery and the distribution, and of course the know-how, Chandler says he relied on family and friends to get his tea-making journey going.
And I'd have my buddies come over for label parties, and we would do it by hand, and it would take 3 or 4 hours to put labels on bottles.
And after a decade of dunking, I had to see if Chandler did not lose his roots.
So back in the day, Kyle used to have label parties where everybody would come over and label his bottles, but he's obviously grown and so is his business, but I want to see if he still has it. So 3 bottles each, 3 labels each, time on the clock. I want to see who can do this the fastest. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. No, wait, no. Yours is way better. He still got it. Kyle,
This was not even close.
there you go. All right, leave it to professionals.
Professional? Yes. Passionate? Yes. But what Chandler says makes a great tea maker is never losing your ability to absorb and grow.
You have to realize you don't know everything. You got to be able to ask questions, but absorb it. I enjoy seeing people enjoy something that I've put my blood, sweat, and tears into for the last decade.
That crazy Ken. All right, let's take a closer look at your 7-day forecast, shall we? So like I said, rain is on the way, and it's getting here on Thursday and not leaving until late next week. The good news, take a look at those temps. They're elevated. We're in the 60s Thursday, Friday. Maybe be spotty if we're lucky. That's the forecast, folks. I don't make the weather. I just tell you about it.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
You're watching Newsday TV. For more on all the stories you've seen here today, head over to Newsday.com. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us.